I thought I'd find you in good hands.
Felix! Felix, how are you? Dink, meet Felix Leiter.
Hello.
Felix, say hello to Dink.
Hi, Dink.
Dink, say goodbye to Felix. Man talk.
Who are you?
Bond. James Bond.
I think you're a sexist, misogynist dinosaur. A relic of the Cold War.
Shaken, but not stirred.
007 reporting for duty.
These are the 00 Files.
Welcome to the podcast of the 00 Files. This is our episode where we will be discussing some general questions or specific questions about James Bond and the world around us. We decided to call this podcast episode Man Talk. And we will just start with with an introduction. My name is Tyler, and here besides me is...
I am Martin.
My name is Anthony.
And I'm Don.
Okay, and we all handed in our questions for today, and we will randomly go through them. I will start by picking one of the 11 questions that we have, and we'll see how far we get. The first one is, we're all somewhat of a collector of James Bond items. What is your favorite item, and is there anything that you regret buying? Let's start with Martin.
Well, best things. I think the personally signed Roger Moore autobiographies are somehow a highlight for me. Went to Amsterdam in, I think it was 2009. So to my teacher back then, I wasn't really sick that day. I'm very sorry, but I was allowed for my parents to take a day off school, and together with my dad went through Amsterdam and waited countless hours for Sir Roger Moore to appear for a quick photo and a handshake, and went home with a signed example of My Word is My Bond.
You still have it?
Yeah, that's never going anywhere.
Is it signed to you personally?
No, he wasn't allowed to sign anything to you in person because there are like dozens of people waiting in line. But it's just his
Roger?
name, just Roger Moore in there. But you've been there, you've handed it over yourself. It's quite cool.
You saw him in real life.
Yeah, exactly.
When was this?
2009, I think.
2009.
Yeah.
I almost never experienced this signing before yet, but a couple of years ago I went to a signing, and what they did is they got the person to sign their book, and they wanted to take a picture of that person actually signing that book as well at the same time. Was that also with you? People taking pictures of the signing going on?
Yeah, well, some people asked for like a photo op, but there were just too many people for everyone to be like. You would probably still be sitting there right now taking picture with everyone. So you just hand over the book and say hi, how are you, and then move along because the next one in line is very
nice
eager.
Yeah.
Anything that's been collecting dust ever since you bought it?
Well, not anything specific, but it's probably all the promotional tie-ins with like Heineken and Smirnoff and all the standees and all that, the cardboard displays and stuff like that. You're like, yeah, why did I ever take that home?
Anthony.
Yes. I don't think I have one item that is my most favorite of all. I'm not a huge collector of items. I do have quite an extensive book collection, and I'm pretty proud on it as a whole, I think.
Apart from the Flemings, you mean?
Yeah, of course, all the novels, Fleming and all the non-Fleming novels, but also a lot of books, the making of books, biographies about people behind the scenes, those kind of books, the comics. I have them all, and I'm proud of it. And every now and then I'm going to stand in front of my closet and I'm going to look at those books.
This is my kingdom.
And, as a matter of fact, when I drove towards here, I was thinking, I'm going to make a picture of every single book and magazine that I have, just to put it in some Excel database or so. I don't know. I like making databases and scroll through it.
Look at all these things I have.
Yeah, but I do have hidden somewhere in a box some things that I bought when I was younger, the age of 16, 17, at some collection fair or something like that. And it's like 200 of these cards. You know these cards that they sold back in 2000 or so, of all the films.
Is it like playing cards?
No, not a deck of cards, but these
like the
collector cards.
Yeah, with like a snippet of a piece of clothing or piece of fabric, all those.
Yeah, or just scenes from the films.
Yeah.
And I have like a lot of them. They're all stuck in a
Are they like a sticker? You can put it in an album or something?
No, it's the same size as a playing card.
Okay.
But then you have an entire collection. So I have like 20 or 30 cards for each film. And there are also cards that are specifically about for instance, the gadgets or the cars or the girls. It's nice, but I never watch them. I never do anything with them. So if you're interested,
If you want them, it's a complete set.
it is a complete set.
Oh man.
Anything you regret?
No, not really.
All right.
I had some socks from GoldenEye.
Socks
Really? Yeah.
with
I
gold
bought.
bars.
I don't know if I bought them or somebody gave them to me in 1995. Recently, I saw them again, and they're really hideous. They're really hideous. So, but no, I don't regret anything. No.
All right.
Wow.
Don, what about you?
Yeah, I'm a bit of a collector. It's getting awkward at home sometimes. Also because some of it is crap. And, luckily, I have a sort of man cave.
Anything
we call
you don't regret buying,
well,
maybe?
we have a tiny room upstairs, and it's supposed to be for work. It has a computer and a desk, and that's pretty much it. But I got to put up a lot of pictures on the walls, stills from the old films, the early Connerys. And recently I wanted to redecorate, so I got 2 posters that I really like from Dr. No and From Russia With Love, the French film posters, the old drawn ones. I like those. And I got a bunch of corgi cars, and I have to get them out of the box because I want to be able to play with the gadgets, and I like that. I got the playing cards. I got a whole stack of T-shirts of James Bond. I have a key ring on my house key. But if I have to choose something, I think it's my favorite, right? What I'm most proud of. I really like the new Folio Society Fleming editions. I thought those are really awesome. I can't wait for the complete set.
Those are
They are illustrated by Faye
yeah.
Dalton, Dalton maybe. No, not related
Family.
to, I think. Yeah. But I really like those. I'm quite happy with those. But I have this one book. I'm not sure if you can call this being a collector, because I asked you about what Martin, what it was like to get the autograph by Roger Moore. I have this book which is for his eyes only, and it's I don't really recommend this book. It's like a feminist point of view of the James Bond films, and it's a collection of essays. And basically, it's a whole bunch of people taking apart the Bond world because he's a misogynist dinosaur that takes advantage of women, and he's a horrible guy. But it looks really nice because it has this nice cover with the gold lady with all the film titles on it for the 50th anniversary.
It's written by an American...
Lisa Funnell.
Yeah.
She edited it.
Yeah.
And I used that book to collect my Bond girl autographs. So I took that along with me to a bunch of places, and I have it signed by Maud Adams and Martine Beswick and Naomi, what's her name? Caroline Monroe and Madeline Smith and some others. So
That's
it's
a great idea.
It is. It is.
Very cool. Yeah.
So I really like that one. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well, I've given this a lot of thought, and it might be either one of my 2 Omega watches, but they're not really the screen accurate ones because I liked another version better. So I'll go for one of my most used items, which are my Church's Rider 3s, which are chukka boots in brown, the shoes that Craig wears in Quantum of Solace. I wear
That's
those.
very specific.
I wear those
Thank
a lot.
you for mentioning that, because I had no idea what you were talking about.
Well, they're shoes.
Are you wearing them?
shoes.
Yeah. No, I'm not wearing them. I'm wearing another pair.
Do you ever wear them?
I wear them very often.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
they're probably my most worn pair.
It's not like
pair
a
of shoes.
shrine.
No. No, I think I usually just use the things that I buy.
Yeah, good.
And this is a nice segue to one of the things that I regret buying. Might be a bit harsh, but the Casino Royale money clip that is on screen for 0.2 of a nanosecond. I never use a money clip. It's just gathering dust somewhere upstairs, and I really don't ever use it. But hey, it was in a Bond movie, so I had to have it. And well, do you really use it? No, not really. So that's my take on this. Let's continue with our next question, which is question number 1.
Which is?
What are 3 of your favorite films outside of Bond? So you don't have to pick your top 3 all-time favorite movies, just 3 movies that you really enjoy outside of Bond. Anthony.
All right.
You know what we'll do? We'll go one at a time, 1 movie each, and then we'll
See how far we get.
Yeah.
It's not a tough question for me because I'm a sucker of databases, so I have all my films in a database.
Are they alphabetical?
Ranked by budget.
You can rank them any way you like.
Any way you
because
like.
can
That's the
both
best database.
alphabetical or in year of release.
Excellent.
I have a little over 315 films back home on DVD or Blu-ray. My girlfriend wants me to get rid of them. She said, "Yeah, you have Netflix." And then I said, "Yeah, but
That's not the
Casablanca is not on
Yeah.
Netflix, which is one of my all-time favorite films."
It is in France, though. I watched it on the French Netflix.
But Netflix has a tendency of removing films after
Exactly,
a while. because
exactly.
You want to have them.
So,
Yeah.
Casablanca is one of my all-time favorite films, especially when you know the story behind the making of the movie, which is quite special. I read a book about it recently. It is made during the war. I don't know, have any of you saw the film?
Yeah, I've seen it.
It's still on my list.
Great acting, although sometimes a bit dated, but I still like the performance of Humphrey Bogart.
Here's looking at you, kid.
Yeah, it's great dialogue. It's smart, it's witty, it's romantic as well. It looks nice. It has a memorable scene where, I don't know if you remember, the German soldiers are in Rick's Cafe and they're singing a German march song, and then the French are there as well. And then they start singing the French, Le Marseillaise, the French anthem. Thank you, Don. And it's a great, impressive scene, especially when you know that most actors in that scene were actually refugees from Europe, from France and other countries. So a lot of actors in that film are refugees, and the film is made in 1942, at the moment when America was doubting, are we going to go into the war or not? And so the entire backstory of Casablanca makes it even better as a film.
Wow, man.
Please rewatch it. Or
Excellent
watch it if you
choice.
haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. Excellent choice. It's going to be a big contrast to my pick. It's a bit less cultural, I think, but one film that I really like and I can watch it every year is Gladiator. And it has its flaws, I know that, and it's not the best Roman history film out there, but I just love Russell Crowe in that. And I think it was one of the first films that did it right when it went back to that old school, did you call it sand and sandals films or something?
Sword and
Sword and
Sandals.
Sandals, that's it. And it was so impressive in the cinema when you had that Colosseum, and you knew that they CGI'd it, but it was one of the first films that really took benefit of the possibilities. And that score, I love that score. That's so amazing. I can listen to that so often. And I really like the extended edition. I don't know if you've seen that. When it's even longer, you can get, 3.5 hours of blood and sand and sweat and stuff like that. Yeah, it's I love that film. I watch it every year. Yeah.
Strong film.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. Tyler.
Okay. I think my first pick will be The Terminator.
The original one?
Yeah, the original one, the first one. It's just a great action thriller. What more can I say? It's not as over the top as most sequels. It's just a great little action thriller. It's a low budget movie when it was made, and I think James Cameron did a great job on it.
I love the name of that club, where
Tech Noir.
Tech Noir, brilliant name.
It was very shocking when I first saw that. It was very well done, very low budget, like you said. Amazing what you can do with suggestion and just lots of black and dark and.
It's more or less one long one chase scene. Yeah, exactly.
One long chase.
It's done really, really well.
And Arnold Schwarzenegger is so cool at that.
And he's the bad guy in it.
Yeah, he is.
And he's much better as a bad guy in the Terminator films, I think.
Yeah,
he was explaining to they wanted him for the lead part of Kyle Reese, and he was explaining to James Cameron but I think the Terminator should do this and he should do that and he looked this way and he should be a menace and a machine and all of a sudden James Cameron is like, well, I think you should play the bad guy in this. And Schwarzenegger was like, no, that's not good for my career. I need to be the hero. And history is made.
Sarah Connor. Yes. That was a brilliant scene. I love that. Yeah, it's a good pick. Was it 84?
I believe so, yes.
Something like that. It's around Octopussy time, people.
Ooh.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Those were
Totally
the days.
different movies.
I was going to say
Slightly different,
If
yeah.
you think about it, just a year in between.
Yeah.
Very weird.
Yeah. Oh,
So that's
Good
my
pick.
pick, my first pick. Martin, how about you?
Right, going slightly the other way. My first pick is Bullitt, 1968. Steve McQueen.
Cool.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's like the film itself. I recently rewatched it with a friend of mine. The film itself, dare I say, is not that special, and like it's not the greatest film ever made or the most suspenseful, I think. Even for the day, but you just got one of the coolest guys to ever live driving one of the coolest cars ever made down San Francisco, absolutely disregarding anyone, everything, and it just, that whole bit got me into cars and car chases and Steve McQueen, and never has anyone looked so cool in a turtleneck before, and never will anyone.
does it have a sequel? Or is it just the one film?
No, yeah,
that's it.
They wanted to make multiple, but
Kind of like Dirty Harry.
yeah, they wanted to make it a series like Dirty Harry, but I think Steve didn't really agree with everything. So halfway through, they already were like, "Yeah, it's just gonna be the one."
I think it's one of those movies where once you've seen it, you see all kinds of different references in other movies and being made to that movie. You're like, so that's where that's from. Okay, so they just stole it from Bullitt, right?
Do you know
Okay.
when it came out? I remember seeing it once, but it's a long, long time ago.
It was 1968.
68, so that's like Majesty's time.
Yeah,
approximately.
I was gonna say, I know I always compare the Bond car chase to that one because it's like as soon as the actual car chase kicks off, after a great soundtrack by Lalo Schifrin, I actually have it on vinyl. It's such a sleazy American soundtrack. It's great. If you haven't listened to it, really give it a try. But as soon as the actual car chase starts, it's just that. It's just like engine noises and tire screeches and bumps and scratches, but no music at all. And that's just the way with effective film work. And
Is that the record you bought the last time you were here?
Yeah,
Right.
it is. Yeah.
Okay, so second round, Anthony.
Let me see.
Pressure.
No, I have a lot of films in my mind. I'm going to go for a few dollars more. It's
Western.
It's a Western.
It's a spaghetti Western made by Sergio Leone and Clint Eastwood stars it. It's the second film they made together. First was A Fistful of Dollars. They made it for a few $1,000s. And I think 2 years later they made it for a few dollars more. With Lee Van Cleef as well. I love spaghetti Westerns. They're cheesy. They're made quick and dirty, and you see it when you're watching the films.
They churned those out like there was no tomorrow, right?
No, they made hundreds a year, and I read a book about it. It's really funny because they just wanted to make as much spaghetti westerns as possible. And there was one anecdote about a film, and then halfway during filming, making the film, the lead actor said, "I'm out of here, goodbye." And then the director said, "Okay, gonna have a problem." And then they saw a guy sitting, an old guy, and they asked him, "Can you act?" And he probably said, "Yeah, I can act." And then they shot a scene where the bad guy said, "Who are you?" And then the guy said, "I'm the father of," the lead guy. "He just left, but I'm taking over." And they finished the film. Brilliant. But for a few dollars more, I think it's one of the. It's not, the most iconic spaghetti westerns are The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, Once Upon a Time in the West. But for a few dollars more is really a strong film. A great role by Lee Van Cleef, and of course, a brilliant soundtrack from Morricone.
I might have seen it. I don't know. I lost track. They all pretty much look alike to me, but
I guess it's on Netflix, and otherwise you can borrow it from me.
yeah. Sounds good. Sounds good. My wife loves westerns. They're
Really?
very slow paced, and that's a good idea.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's my pick. I'm gonna go with the film that. Oh, I love this film. It cracks me up every time. It's The Big Lebowski, with the dude. I don't know if you've seen it, but I think that's brilliant. A brilliant film. I love John Goodman in that. He was always swearing. Donnie was always so stupid, and of course the dude. Oh. He is so awesome with his rug, and guy, you peed on my rug. Just the dialogue and everything, and the different Lebowski and the mix-up. And
I was gonna say, if you haven't seen the movie, this is all very.
it doesn't make any sense. Even if you have seen the film, it doesn't make any sense. But I love it, and this perfect casting. What's her name? The woman with the red hair.
Julianne Moore.
Yeah, that's it. Who is an artist and is completely freaky. Oh yeah, that's a very fun film. I like that. He had a comeback recently, right?
made
Jeff Bridges.
Yeah.
He made a small commercial.
I saw it.
Together with Sarah Jessica Parker, I think, from Sex and the City.
And then there was this...
it was about alcoholic drink or something. I don't know.
but the first thought, hey, it's going to be a sequel from The Big Lebowski.
I hope not.
But,
I hope not. Let's keep it the way it is. Yeah.
Yeah, some things shouldn't be touched anymore.
No.
Yeah, exactly. It's fine the way it is. It's good.
Yeah.
And the dude abides, man. The dude abides, yeah.
Okay, my second pick is Bull Durham, which is I love baseball, so it's a baseball movie set in the minor leagues. Kevin Costner is in it, Tim Robbins is in it, Susan Sarandon is in it as well. It has comedy, it has a bit of drama, it has a bit of romance. It's really one of my all-time favorites.
What's the title?
Bull Durham. It's about a minor league baseball team, and Kevin Costner is a veteran catcher there to help one of the young rookie pitchers, and it's just a love triangle between Tim Robbins and Kevin Costner and Susan Sarandon. And
is it like a feel-good film as well?
Not really. Well, spoiler alert, of course, they end up with each other in the end, I believe. No.
Well, not all three of them.
No.
It's not that kind of film.
Costner, the young pitcher ends up in the major league, and
so it has a happy ending.
Yeah, Kevin Costner gets traded and says goodbye to Susan Sarandon. But it's just really, like I said, a bit of drama, a bit of comedy, one of the best sports movies ever made, I think.
Oh.
Martin.
All right, my second one is, I've thought a lot about this one, but the second one I'm gonna name here is The Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
Which is one of those films, whenever it's on TV, and it's on TV quite a lot, I always keep on watching because it's such a great story. And I love Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman. I always seem to like anything he's in. And it's very good. And the score is good. The atmosphere is good. The story is so clever as well. And there's a lot of character development, despite being like in a very small area. I mean, it's just in the prison for like 80% of the movie.
Yeah.
So it's so great to see what they can just do with dialogue and with time progression. And
what's your favorite scene in that?
Quite hard. I think it's the bit where he finally crawls out. Tim Robbins makes his escape in the rain. Yeah. But it's also with the quote Morgan Freeman, like saying he's the only guy who can crawl through a mile of shit and come out clean on the other side.
Yeah. I love that bit when he's playing the record.
Yeah,
when he locks himself in the office and he plays the
guards
music.
go mad.
And he's going to sit really,
and he knows he's going to be punished as hell for that. It's worth it.
Yeah,
I love the bit where the old man is released.
Yeah,
I don't know his name anymore.
And he hangs himself, right?
Yeah,
Brooks. Yeah. It's so tragic.
It
you
is.
see him working in a grocery shop. I can
paper or plastic,
and
right? He has to pack your groceries. Yeah. It's so sad.
All right, final round. Now's the time, Anthony.
Difficult. Shall I go for an oldie or a new film?
I think right now Gladiator is the most recent.
Okay, I'm going to go for a new one. Have you seen Children of Men?
Yes.
No.
2006. Clive Owen.
Yeah.
Brilliant film.
Okay.
Oh, those were all my trivia questions for today.
It is a brilliant film.
I love that film.
It is. Do you know that the scene? Of course, you know.
In the car.
In the car.
It's one of the first times that you see a one shot.
And
it's like. It just keeps going on.
It is absolutely brilliant. Have you seen the movie? The scene?
Stop this podcast right now. We're gonna watch Children of Men.
This specific scene in the car. It's one take.
It's a scene,
and it's so complex. But you know, there are several one take shots in the film when they escape from the farm at the end.
Yeah.
But it's such a strong film with a powerful message. It's beautifully made, well shot. Michael Caine is delicious in his small role.
Always.
He's always great, but especially here, pull my finger. That's the joke he's making in the movie. Yeah, it's. I think I dare to say it's one of the best films made in the last 2 decades.
Yeah.
Since Gladiator, probably.
2006, right? Year of Casino. Yeah. Good
Put
film.
that on my list.
Good film. I'm going to go a few years back, 2001. This is one of my all-time favorites. It's Le Fabuleux Destin d'Amélie Poulain, or Amélie for most people, the French modern fairy tale. Don't know if you've seen it.
During French class, that was like 12 years ago. So.
I absolutely love that film. I have to admit, I think I fell a bit in love with Audrey but I can never pronounce her name right. But she's so lovely in that.
You also try to play the theme from the movie on
No,
piano
I
as
can't.
well.
I'm about as musical as this deck of cards right here. But no, I can't do that. But I love the soundtrack indeed. Yeah, just the effort that she puts into every single thing in her life, and you see the same amount of effort by the director put into the film, which is just perfect. Every shot is well thought out of, and the colors, and it's so sweet. The end is so sweet. I want to watch it again.
After Children of Men, of course.
Okay, and I think my third pick, I'm really on the fence on this one. So I will give an honorable mention to...
you can only pick one.
Yeah, I know. But since I'm the host, I can have an honorable mention as well. I'm really on the fence about this one. So I think it's either going to be Spinal Tap. This is Spinal Tap, the mockumentary, which is an amazing movie. I really, really laugh out loud movie. And I think my third pick is Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Ooh. Okay.
When you say falling in love with an actress in a movie, I think Audrey Hepburn is one of the most beautiful women ever made. But yeah,
she was well made.
Yeah, she was very well made. Yeah.
I can never watch that film without thinking about the A-Team. I love it when a plan comes together. That's Hannibal from the A-Team.
Right. Yeah.
Didn't pick up on that. It's a great fun film.
Yeah,
You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Martin, final pick for you as well.
My final pick is taking it to 2013 for Gangster Squad. Don't know if any of you saw that one.
Is that with Ryan Gosling? And,
Ryan Gosling, Josh Brolin, and Emma Stone. I love all three. Especially, I'm a fan of Ryan Gosling. Like both in his private life, everything he does on Twitter and stuff like that. He's always cracks me up. And it's just the whole atmosphere of the movie, the whole 40s setting, the chemistry between
film,
him.
Right?
Yeah, it's
the title kind of gives us away, Don.
A little bit, yeah. No, but it's like. The very basic plot is like the LAPD in the 40s is making the special team to take down Mickey Cohen, another famous...
Sean Penn, right?
Yeah, Sean
I just
Penn.
thought of a fourth film now. But okay, just go on, sorry.
Next round.
But they just make and they just try to get him by trial and error. I mean, it's all a new team and they're all rookie people and all that kind of stuff. So it's great. The chemistry is great. The songs they use are very good. Well, I'm a car enthusiast. Having a film full of these 50s and 40s full size American big.
It's a recent
cars.
film, right?
2013. Yeah.
Wow. You're a Ryan Gosling fan and a car fan. Have you seen Drive as well?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think of that movie?
Yeah, I like that one as well.
Okay. I think it's brilliant as well.
Now, all kinds of films start popping in my head, like Baby Driver and LA Confidential.
Okay.
But we have to...
Anthony has 377 left to talk about, so let's
continue.
Let's carry on. So our third question for today is going to be number 4. If given an unlimited budget and creative control for Bond 26, what would you choose? Director, Bond girl, a Bond actor, title, storyline, locations, and anything else you can think of? We'll start with Don.
Great. Bond 26. Well, I have said this before, and you all disagree with me, but I have creative control. So, Bond 26. We get rid of Daniel Craig. We start with a clean slate. And I want Christopher Nolan in the director chair. And I want him to get his cast together and sign them for a back-to-back trilogy set in the 60s, which is a standalone trilogy coming out each year. And then after that, he's finished and you can start with a modern Bond again.
Like a Bond Begins. Batman.
I don't know. It doesn't have to be Bond Begins. No, it can be like Bond in his like a senior officer or in his prime or whatever. I don't care about that. But
you really want to be set in the 60s?
Yeah, I'd love to see that. I am just as a one-off. They're gonna have a problem after Daniel Craig anyway. I think. How are you gonna continue the timeline after Daniel? Are you gonna continue with?
They just forget about it,
like they do,
like they always do.
Like they do. Yeah. Well, okay, but I like this idea of Eon actually having a plan, what they want, not just for the next film, but the ones after that, which they never seem to have. They only seem to plan one film ahead. So you got Christopher Nolan in the director chair. And then for Bond, if this should come out at around 2022, something like that.
Let's
who
hope
would
so.
you pick? Something like that. Will be quick, maybe. Time that
Let's get a
taking
move on.
nowadays. But I think I'm going to go with Adrian Turner as Bond. I don't know if you've seen him.
Mm-hmm.
I liked him in And Then There Were None. Yeah, let's give it a try. I don't like any of the big names, or even an unknown that I don't know yet. I don't really care. What else you have on there? Bond Girl.
Bond Girl, title, storyline, locations.
I always liked Risico as a title. It's still a Fleming title, so I like that one. Locations, I don't really care. Storyline, I don't know. Some sort of mission. I don't know.
Wow,
Here,
that's really,
Bond, there's a bad guy,
Well,
go on a mission.
yeah,
Good luck.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for Bond,
not you're suspended again.
no
storyline.
rogue stuff.
Yeah,
No. Just get
done
the
with
job
that.
done. Do it well. Screw a few beautiful women along the way. And
Drink a martini, go
Yeah.
to a casino,
Yeah,
something like
stuff
that.
like
Okay.
but you've seen that all before. Yes, exactly. That's what I want. Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, in a movie set in the 60s, should he smoke?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. And like 70 cigarettes a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Light the first one with, or the second one with the first.
Yeah.
All right.
Stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, my turn then. Now I have creative control.
Dum.
And an unlimited budget for Bond 26. So the new Bond, for now, just for argument's sake, I go with Tom Hiddleston, I guess. Just because I like the guy and I don't know who else should do it. I like Risiko as well. I think it's a good title. But there's something that I would really, really like. And that's for the Bond movies to return to the...
70s.
No.
50s, 80s.
No, just one or two or three locations that Bond stays at. Like you have the Thunderball is the underwater one. You have
Istanbul.
You Only Live Twice is the Japanese one. You have the one in the snow.
Yeah.
You have the one. So I would really like them to stay in one part or one or two parts of the world, and maybe something like Hong Kong and Australia, something like that. One of the series that I'm watching right now is Miss Fisher's Murder Mysteries, which is
Is that Australian, Agatha Christie-like?
Yeah, exactly. It's an Australian series set in the 1920s, and the funny thing is that all the people that you see in that series, you don't know them. You don't know them from other films or other movies or
right.
So it's like you're not like oh wait a minute, he's always a bad guy, so he's probably the bad guy right now. They have a lot of talent in Australia that hasn't been used properly in many Western movies. Bond Girl, they'll probably find one or two.
They usually go for an unknown actress.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah. And storyline wise, well, a great pre-title sequence. Here, Bond, your mission, go kill bad guy. Go, now, bye. Just easy peasy, like that.
Okay.
Wow.
Martin!
Right, director, I have no idea. I'm not into directing, no idea who can do what the best, so I'm just going to leave that empty for anyone else to decide. I just picked it like, what if I could make it now, so not taking into consideration everyone's age and whatever happens in the world. So my pick for Bond would be Adam Rayner. I don't know if you guys have seen Adam Rayner. If you guys seen the Saint TV movie they made.
No.
I really like him. I think it just got that mixture of being a very serious action guy and also can do a little bit of the tongue-in-cheek stuff that Roger Moore used to do. As I said before, I love Emma Stone, so I'd really be very interested to see her in a Bond film, see what she can do with that. One of the titles which has been going on, I think, for pretty much every new Bond film, the working title is Shatterhand. I quite like that one because I don't know how well you guys know the Bond games, the old video games, but I really like the storyline of Everything or Nothing.
I haven't played that one.
With the nanobots and the...
Yeah, just
Thingamajigs.
Does it have laser sharks?
No, but it does have an invisible Porsche and an invisible Aston Martin and grappling hooks and Q-made robot spiders and
most people
just
don't like the
madness.
invisible car thing.
It's like a documentary, as you can hear. Yeah.
Very lifelike. Yeah, no, but I think, after Daniel, where every movie so far has been about death and sorrow
Yes.
and misery, and
Bring
I just
back some
want to
fun.
just go mad. Just go with it. Yeah, well, location-wise, in the game they go to Egypt, and then they go to I think it's Peru, somewhere like that. It's also a place we haven't been yet, and they end up in Moscow. So I think that could be very interesting.
Anthony.
Yes. Well, some of the things I wrote down, I already heard one of you mention. For instance, director, I'm a huge fan of Christopher Nolan's work. So yeah, let's give him a shot at Bond. I know he's a Bond fan and he particularly likes Majesties. So that's always a good thing, I think. Bond actor, Bond girl, I don't know. Haven't got a clue. Bond actor, please, an unknown one. So he's fresh and we don't associate him with other roles.
I can see that.
Bond girl, as long as she's pretty, it's fine by me.
Man talk.
Title. I wrote down Risiko as well.
Oh, wow.
I always love it when it's Fleming-esque title, so why not? Well, storyline, well, yeah, do you have a minute? I think if Ian would call us and would say, okay, I kind of like what you're doing on that podcast. I'm going to give you a week to come up with a great storyline for Bond 26. I would like that. I think we would get something on paper here. Locations, Africa. We haven't seen a lot of Africa. I'm not talking about Northern Africa, Egypt or Morocco, but
South Africa.
Yeah, South Africa.
Central Africa.
Central Africa. And I like what you were saying, Tyler, just focus on one or two countries. So why not make Bond 26 the African Bond? Or I also wrote down that I would really love to see an old Eastern Europe castle. Have you seen, for instance, Where Eagles Dare?
Yeah.
The castle on top of it's in Austria, an Austrian mountain. An old school castle that I would really love to see.
Kind of like Skyfall?
No. No, really more a medieval castle.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Okay.
You know, something that came into my mind just now, what I would really like is they would use the Fleming novels for a very well-done Netflix series or something like that. Mm-hmm. If you want to go back to the 60s or whatever, the 50s even. Take Casino Royale, the novel, and turn it into like a 3-part television show, like with very high standard quality. I think you could do that and stay so close to the source material.
Potential, yeah.
Yeah, and then you have like if you divide it up to 2, 3, 4 episodes, I don't know, you could do the novels really well. I think shoot them back to back.
Has anyone of you seen the Fleming series?
Yeah, the 3-parter, right, with the guy from Mamma Mia. I don't know.
Yeah,
Dominic.
Yeah, that's
Dominic West.
Dominic Cooper, wasn't it?
Cooper. Oh yeah, Dominic Cooper.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, I was going to say they do take a bit of liberation with
what
they achieve with what happened.
Romanticize everything, but yeah, anything's better than nothing.
Can be done. Yeah,
True.
Fourth question of today is going to be number 5, and question number 5 is: imagine you had been cast as James Bond. Which 3 and only 3 existing Bond films would you have liked to have starred in? Well,
let's hear it.
Yeah, let's hear it. I have to start with this one. Probably at least on Her Majesty's Secret Service, just because of the great skiing scenes. GoldenEye, because I've always wanted to drive a tank around St. Petersburg.
So that's a life goal.
And
it's a good bucket list you got there.
Probably, well, this will come as no surprise. I think You Only Live Twice, just because of Aki. So
I was going to say, you really want to scale down a volcano in your pajamas.
Yeah, and Aki. So
you wouldn't leave the hotel room, just stay with Aki for 2 hours long. Really a boring movie.
Not for me. Okay, Martin, over to you.
Right. First one I do is From Russia with Love, because whenever I think of, like, not even just as a Bond film, but whenever I think of spy thriller, it is From Russia with Love. It's got the intrigue, it's got the double taking, it's got everything a classic Bond film should be to me. And not to mention, I've been to Istanbul yet, and I really want to go there, so that's a plus. Second, for me, is also going to be On Her Majesty's Secret Service, just because of the great story and the skiing, and just to be in a very emotional Bond film. And then the last one is really stepping out of line, is going to be Moonraker.
And hear me out on this one. It's because, as I said, Bond should be fun. And if I could just, like, imagine coming into work on your first day and the director's like, right, we're going to start off by throwing you off a plane without a parachute. Then we're going to get you over to a mansion in France. You're going to go to Venice to drive a gondola onto a square. Then off to Brazil for some carnival and some boating on the Amazon River before we're going to shoot you into outer space. I'm like, bring it on. Just go full on. I think that would be one of the most enjoyable things you can do on film.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, I agree.
Sounds like a plan. Yeah.
Anthony.
Yes. Well, first of all, I would shit in my pants if I would have to play James Bond in any movie. But that being said, I would go for Thunderball because I get to have sex with both Fiona and Domino.
It's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it. Yeah.
Then I would go for From Russia with Love because I think it would be great fun hanging out with Karim in Istanbul. And I really love trains. So, going from Istanbul to Paris in the Orient Express sounds like a great job for me. And yeah, skiing down a Swiss mountain. Majesties, definitely.
Right.
Good choices. It's one of the disadvantages of being last. I thought about this as well, and the first film that I picked was also Thunderball, just because it's like, how long did the shoot take? 3 months, 4 months in the Bahamas? I wouldn't say no to that. No. I mean, okay, you have to sit on the beach for the entire day, and then at the end you have to snog Claudine Auger. It's like, well, I could do that. No problem, yeah.
You're really making a case for the movie now.
Yeah, it's just, it's brilliant. And then you can tell Q to bugger off with this radioactive pill and stuff like that. It's just great fun. Great fun. I'd love to be in Thunderball. Also, because Bond was at its peak right then, the entire world was going crazy. So that's kind of nice, but also quite intimidating.
Yeah, definitely.
The second pick that I had was also Moonraker, just because I want to go to outer space. So yeah, if they told you, you can fly your own shuttle, it's like, sign me up, definitely. Or drive. How do you call it? Is that driving in a gondola over the square in Venice? Yeah. Looking out for double-taking pigeons and stuff like that. That would be amazing.
You guys do realize that Roger Moore didn't actually go into outer space, right?
Let's not get into details.
I mean,
wait a minute. What are you saying? It's fake.
I'm saying, although Moonraker is a very dark film noir documentary-like movie.
Exactly. Look at the other perks. For no reason, you get to dress up like a Mexican and ride a horse. You get to play opposite Richard Kiel, which is really nice. You can go to Brazil, where you always samba, and even if you don't samba, you find something to do to spend the time. Yeah, it's a fun film. I completely agree with you, Martin. Yeah. And then my final pick was GoldenEye, because you would be probably the only person that was able to spend some time between Xenia's thighs and live. So that's worth it. That's just worth it.
All right.
Yeah. That's my pick. Yeah.
Okay, we're about 50 minutes in. What do you guys think? One more question?
Yeah, one more question.
That's right.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, there we go.
Final question for today is question number 9. If there is one actor that you could recast in the entire franchise, who would it be and why? And of course, who would you pick to replace him or her? Martin, up to you.
I've thought about it for so long, and it was a type I'm going to pick right now. So my runner-up would have been Donald Pleasence as Blofeld, because I really think it's not a good performance. I won't get into that. We'll save that for that free podcast.
Because you're wrong.
Right. But the one which is, and I really have to defend it to myself, is because I'm a huge Roger Moore fan, both Bond and around it, but I really would say, Roger, come on, Octopussy, it's your last, and then cast Timothy as Bond in View to a Kill. Because I've been giving it some thought and just try to imagine Tim fighting Max Zorin on top of the Golden Gate Bridge. Like, if everything else is the same, well, just give some tape to Tanya Roberts to get her to shut up. But apart from that, I really think the film could go in a very different direction, action-wise, if you had Tim in there.
I wouldn't mind seeing that. View to a Kill with Timothy Dalton. Wouldn't mind. Then again.
But I had to say goodbye to good old Roger, and I don't think I could tell him to bugger off. It just
no, you can't.
Well, you have to.
It's such a difficult question, but I went for the obvious one.
Sean Connery?
No.
Daniel?
No, I wouldn't recast. Was it a Bond actor you were talking
No,
about?
no,
any
just
actor.
Any actor, right? Okay. Or actress, perhaps?
Yes.
All right, there you go. Denise Richards.
Yeah.
Your
Perfect choice.
Californian beach bunny.
Yeah, please leave the film. And I would recast her with Elizabeth Shue. Why? Because she played pretty much the same role in The Saints, which was released, I think, 1 or 2 years prior to The Wilson.
Yeah, 2 years earlier.
Did you actually peek at my answers? Or
No.
Okay.
No.
Wow.
No. Okay, interesting. So Elizabeth Shue, because I think she's pretty, but also I believe her when she's playing a nuclear physicist. And Denise Richards is not my type of girl, and I don't believe anything she's saying.
Well, but she doesn't speak spy.
No, but for those of you who are interested in my opinion regarding Denise Richards, please listen to the podcast of The World Is Not Enough.
I, of course, am a complete bellend because I read this question, but I decided not to think about it because we were going to pick the questions randomly, and I thought, I just hope this won't come up. But now it came up. I'm going through my mind.
Putting you on
We
the spot.
already went through quite often in our film reviews that the Bond films are filled with excellent bit parts, we call them, right? Tiny roles that are excellently cast. One role that came to mind just now, which I really don't like, is the part of Tanner in For Your Eyes Only. It's the first one without Bernard Lee, who is excellent. I love Bernard Lee. And then they cast this complete idiot, this dork, who is just frustratingly nothing like Tanner, the way I know him from the books, to replace M, and I don't like that. But this was made in 81. I don't know any other actors that should have taken that part. I don't know. Maybe just, I don't know.
It's more the role that they should have rewritten, I guess. Yeah.
Like they needed, I don't know, Michael Kitchen was too young maybe then.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
But someone in that region of
well,
screen presence.
Tanner
and,
has to be like Bond's best mate, you know. He has to,
Exactly,
glad the old man's not here, that kind of stuff, you know.
It would have been better if they just made him a MI6 official and not who was replacing M because he was ill.
Maybe,
something like
Yeah,
that.
or just the
MI6
Minister of
bureaucrat.
Defense, for
Yeah.
instance.
Oh, yeah.
Could have been.
Oh, I just thought of another one, very briefly.
Sure.
What if Anthony Hopkins never left Tomorrow Never Dies?
Oh, and he played Elliot Carver. you mean?
Instead of
That's-
Jonathan Pryce.
I don't know. I really like Jonathan. So
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Anthony Hopkins is one of those people. He was also going to be Alec Trevelyan, right, in GoldenEye?
Yeah, in an early draft.
Yeah, one of those people who never got to play one of the parts that were written for him.
Yeah.
My answer is exactly the same as Anthony's. So I'll
Really?
just reiterate what he said.
So also Denise Richards, but also Elizabeth Shue as a
Yeah.
replacement.
Yeah.
That's
That's
okay.
kind of scary, guys.
That's-
But
really
that's
scary.
also because I watched The Saint a couple of weeks ago, and I
I
think
still
this
really like that film.
it is.
It is a very fun film.
Me too.
Is it? Because I tried it,
Yeah, it
and
is.
I didn't get past the first 10 minutes.
You just have to see it separately from the Roger Moore series because it's totally
yeah,
different.
definitely. Yeah.
So
nice
it's
film.
just
Yeah.
a
Okay,
nice
okay.
nice film.
I can give it a go. Yeah, sure.
It is among my 377 films, so you can.
It's also on Netflix, I believe. So, okay. Anyways, this was our first edition of Man Talk.
Bitch slap.
Yes, we'll probably edit that in as well. We'll just have Sean Connery say goodbye to you all. Thank you very much for listening. We'll be back with our film review of Casino Royale.
I don't know when this comes out.
We'll probably be back with a film review.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Ciao.
Talking to the camera. How many keys?
Symbol or code keys?
Both.
There are 24 symbols, 16 code keys. It is inserted in a slot, and the message comes out in a paper roll from another slot on the other side. The mechanism is... Oh, James, will you make love to me all the time in England?
Day and night. Go on about the mechanism.
Oh, yes, the mechanism. Once, when it was being repaired, I saw the insides. There were many perforated discs, made, I think, of copper, with a small light. Dushka, tell me the truth. Am I as exciting as all those Western girls?
Oh, once when I was with Am in Tokyo, we had an interesting experience.
Thank you, Miss Moneypenny. That's all.